It's that time again. It's the Burky and the Badger Board Game Babble Show. It's going to get wild. It's going to get wacky. It might even get a little zany. We're going to talk about board games and the board game industry. And, you know, we might talk about anything else we want to talk about.
Hey, hey, hey! We're live! It's the Burky and the Badger Board Game Babble Show, episode 45, as you've seen on TV.
Oh, is
but
that...
wait, there's more!
No!
Barry, how are you?
I am very good, my good dear and Americanized friend, Mr. Kevin Burkhardt, Brick Smire. You're still bricking it, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm still getting stoned because I'm laying stonework. Yes, I finished the fireplace, but we're doing the exterior of the house now. And in the middle of that, I'm doing all kinds of stuff with game toppers. Super excited about that. Things are going fantastic. Ooh. And also just got back from the cool mini or not. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. So we have got a ton of fun stuff to do today.
Yes, lots of tons of stuff. Where was I going to go?
Yeah, I don't know. Where were you going with that?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's actually episode 42, not 45. Is a typo.
No, it's 45. It's 45.
Okay, if you say so.
44 was our last one.
Was it?
Yeah, we're cruising, man.
We are we?
We are cruising, baby.
Okay. I just no.
We're just kicking out the jams, man. Kicking out the jams one after another. Podcast, boom.
Bam, bam, bam. Yeah.
Another notch.
And unless the voice from beyond has something to say about this.
Okay, well, if the voice from beyond does it, then you can just I just fall back on my old adage, you know, life is hard and it's harder when you're stupid.
Yeah, welcome to Dumb and Dumber 5.
I'm just going to post right here. We are live. It's gone out to the Twitter sphere now.
Cool.
The Twitter sphere knows that we're yeah, I tell you what, you guys, we're excited to be. This is a live podcast that's done on a Google Hangout. However, this program is then professionally audio engineered by yours truly, Barry Doublet. And he does such a fantastic job. If you haven't heard the show in audio format, I'd highly recommend it because his production on it's fantastic. Our drops and everything are much more professional than we're able to do on the Google Hangout. But you can check us out on iTunes. You can check us out on Stitcher Radio, any of the other popular services. You can catch our RSS feed at Podcast Garden, or you can go to BoardGameTheater.com or BoardGamesEverybodyShould.com, and you can see all of our past episodes. Oh, they're cool. Look at, yeah, Badger. He's got a thing there. Board Games Everybody Should.
Yes.
Cool.
The lower thirds are back, baby.
Yeah, that's kind of exciting. I'm glad it looks like they're working on the Google Hangout toolbox thingy.
Yeah, and that'd be cool if we can do sound effects live.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
And Matthew Ward has joined us. Hey, guy. How you doing, buddy? From the Dukes of Dice down in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yes, sir.
It's not
yeah.
Mexico.
No. New Mexico. And we want to also give a big shout out and a big thank you to our sponsor, Arcane Wonders. So grateful to have their sponsorship of the show. And we're going to talk about some things that they're going to do a little bit later. But we've decided to do a new segment, and it's called our Mailbag segment. Mailbag. So, yeah, tell us what mailbag is, Barry.
I don't know. Well, post bag. I don't know. Post drop. I think that might be a bit more. That'll stop me giggling. And now we're doing the post drop section. We're going to do the what dropped through your letterbox.
Yeah.
What game is behind the? Yeah. Anywho. So
What's in the post?
what's in the post? Oh, yes.
We
know
don't call it the post. We call it the mailbox.
Okay. Yeah, I know you call it the
Okay.
mailbox. We call it mailbox as well, but
Oh, you do?
Well, no, sorry. I'm in France. It's called le boîte de lettres.
The but what?
Le boîte de lettres.
The boîte.
A box of letters. Yes.
What? A box of letters.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's very nice.
Yeah. Yes. And you can't fit board games in them. Card games, yes.
Oh,
board games, no.
Card games. No board games. So do they come to your door then to drop off the box?
Oh, yes. Special courier does a ding dong, ding dong dong. And then there's a big box. I've had 2 big boxes. Let's get on with this. I've had 2 big boxes come through my door. The first
tell us.
The first big box was from a previous Kickstarter, which was up last year, called Outlive, and that's by La Boîte de Jeux. There you go, a box of games instead of a box of letters. Boîte de lettres and boîte de jeux.
Boîte de jeux. Boîte de jeux.
Yes.
Boîte de jeux.
I was very excited about this. I've just been working with La Boîte de Jeux about their new game, Clash of Rage, which is up on Kickstarter right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. A cool kind of combat area control game. But Outlive is a Euro-style game, but with a very Americanized theme. It's the post-apocalypse, and you have teams out scavenging for supplies, and you bring them back to your shelter. So it's like Fallout in a way, and you try to get extra people back to your shelter, and you try to get these rooms opening and working, and they give you extra bonuses to help you when you're searching out. But all the other players are doing the same. They've got their team searching out, and you can like sabotage the other teams, or you could send your men to a space and take all the resources there. So when anyone else goes to that space, there's no resources. So it's a little bit backstabbing, but it's totally a Euro game. It's just, oh, I can move here and do this action. And it works so well, and it looks so gorgeous. So I opened that box, and actually my daughter opened the box, and then she played inside the box that the game came in, which is really strange.
Must have been a big box.
It was a big box, but the bigger box was Conan Wave 2.
Oh, boy.
Yes, that was a big box. And it had all the expansions for, well, it didn't have all the expansions because I couldn't afford all the expansions, but it had the expansions for Conan and also a campaign art book, which looks gorgeous. I've read it, and there's some nice ideas. There's a campaign, and it changes the rules of Conan a little bit, but it makes it so you progress and you kind of level up in a way because it gives you experience. And I'm looking forward to doing an actual scenario. Again, it's very Descent style. You start with mission 1, and then afterwards, whoever wins will make it go mission 2 or mission 7. So go in different ways. So that's Wave 2 of Conan, which came through my mailbox as well.
Yeah, you did a great job on your video of Conan, and being able to possibly do some more work with Monolith. Then, as I understand it, too, right?
Oh, yes. Frederic Henry, the designer of Conan, is actually coming here on Thursday. He just contacted me about an hour before going live. He said, oh, is it right if I come round and we'll play Batman? And I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll put some champagne in the fridge. I'll invite some friends around and we'll have a go at playing Batman. Yes, I've been doing a bit of promotion for Batman, and I'm going to be in the UK at the UK Gaming Expo demoing Batman. So if you're going to the UK Expo and you want to come in and give me a manly hug, that's where I'll be. Yeah. But if you just want to come, but if you want to play Batman, you can come and play Batman. There you go. And we're going to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to be at booth C26. Yeah.
Fantastic.
With money penny.
That's exciting. Are you planning on coming to Gen Con then too?
I'm not planning on coming to Gen Con, but if someone invites me to go to Gen Con, then I will be at Gen Con.
Well, you might need to hit them up on that, because you'd be great to help them at Gen Con.
Mm.
Yeah, baby.
Of course.
Yeah, well, my mailbag segment's going to be a little bit different because mailbag is going to be what we get in the post, but it's also talking a little bit about what we're doing. And I just got back from the Cool Mini or Not Expo, Cmon Games. And Cmon has really put on this great big convention every year. I think it's 4 or 5 years running now. This year they had over 600 people at the show. They invited media people. They invited different designers and things like that in the industry. And then there was also open gaming. Really quite an experience. I got to say this, and this is why I'm talking about it in the mailbag segment, is I have never seen a swag bag this amazing. I mean, a swag bag, you know?
What is a swag bag? Apart from that burglar will have on his back as he goes through a window.
Yeah, kind of like that, but not really. No, it's like, you know, you go to Dice Tower Con, they give you a little bag and you've got your a brochure booklet in there, which is really actually awesome at Dice Tower Con. But then you might get a badge holder, or you might get some promo cards or just some free gifts, you know, for attending.
Okay.
So they had all this swag. Well, look at this. I'm going to just go through this. I'm going to show you on the video, but this is amazing. First off, we got a bunch of promos. Now, I don't know what all these promos are even for, to be honest. This is a promo here. I don't even know which one this is for. I think it's one of their new kids games that I'm not sure.
That makes very good podcast listening.
Yeah, I know. But what do you do when you get packets of stuff that you don't know what they are? Anyway, these are that.
Yeah, so if you listen to this podcast and you know what was in the come on. Yeah,
yep.
Come on.
Yep, Cmon Games.
Come on, games bag. Let us know.
Well, it's pretty cool. I wish I should have looked at these. Anyway, then there's another promo pack for looters. Pretty cool. A promo pack for Ethnos. This is a whole race. We played this game. We're going to talk about that more later down the road, I think, because I got to get a copy of this thing because this game was really a lot of fun. And then look at this. Blood Rage. Fifth player tokens.
Oh, it looks like a CD.
Yeah, it's in a full box. Look at that. Now get this. Rum and Bones. Skull. Look at that. Skull and Kickers expansion. All these different miniatures. My glare is probably not so good there. If you can see that. They're still in shrink. And then Zombicide. Got Zombicide miniatures. Look at those bad boys.
Black Plague miniatures.
Nope, these are just regular ones. These aren't great video, I know.
They got capes on, so I think they're for Black Plague and not the normal Zombicide.
This is Troy and Evil Troy, and I think it's just straight, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
Then another Zombicide set 1, Survivors and Zombies. Look at this.
Wow.
Is this crazy? Okay, then we get a gaming mat for Xeno Shift. Now look at that. Then the Pierre de Resistance. Yeah?
Yeah, go on.
Look at this. Zombicide, Black Plague.
Ooh.
The whole kit and caboodle. Wow. A whole brand new box, and it's signed by all these people. This was the swag bag that we got at Cool Mini or Not. I've never seen anything like that. People that got their badges, this is what they were giving people to come to their expo. And I just want to make a few quick shout outs. I spent a lot of time talking about that. Sorry, but I was just so impressed by it. I got to give him a shout out. You know, Pete Shirey, what a great guy. I just love this guy. I was handing out my jerky right and left, and people love my jerky. It was really funny because I was playing this game with Richard Lanius and Marty. We were playing the new Godfather game, and we're over there, and Pete Shirey comes over to me, and he says, "You got to come here, quick, come here." I said, "Okay, what is it? I'm in the game." He says, he comes over to this guy, and he says, "Tell this guy what you just said when I gave you the jerky." And he goes, it just made my mouth happy. So thus Happy Mouth Jerky. But anyway, Pete Shirey, what a great guy. Love him to death. And Jared Miller, which gave me the invite to come to the expo. We got to meet so many other people. Got to meet the owner, David, and Carol, one of the purchasing and convention leaders, as well as attend a bunch of the different groups that were there. They had some panels that I'll be sending some videos at boardgametheater.com. You'll be able to see some of those videos coming up of some of the new games, including the Cool Mini or Not game, The Godfather, Rising Sun. There's a new Panda game. In fact, if you go to Board Game Theater on Facebook, you can actually see my videos right now of the whole overview of the Cmon Expo. It was fantastic. Big shout out also to, I got to play a game with Eric Lang of The Godfather with the Dice Tower crew.
Wow. That's like sitting down and eating Christmas pudding with Santa Claus, isn't it?
Oh, pie. It was
Christmas
awesome.
Pie. Christmas
yes,
pie.
Christmas pie. It was awesome. We had so much fun with that. And there was Tom Vassell, Richard Lanius, Eric Lang, and Derek from the Dice Tower. And I stated my Godfather character too. So, you know, when did I ever refuse an accommodation? And we just had a blast going through that. That's not going to be released until around June 26th because there is a moratorium on it.
A quoi?
A moratorium. That means we can't talk about, because if we talk about it, we'll have to kill you. I don't know. Maybe they kill you. I don't know, but it's bad if you talk about it.
Okay, they push you off.
Yeah, it's a moratorium, and that's a bad sounding word.
Okay.
But nonetheless, got to hang out with Marty from Rolling Dice Taking Names, and he's always a hoot, and Chaz Marler from Paradise. And I also got to meet just a delightful couple, Kevin and Melissa from Tantrum House.
Ooh,
they have a podcast. Oh, well, they have kids, so that's why they have Tantrum House. No, just delightful people. We just got to hang out and play several different games with them. Went out to dinner with them one night with the Dice Tower crew, and they're just lovely people. And if you haven't checked out Tantrum House, give them a check. And then got to meet that Terry girl, Terry Lacrito. I'm probably saying her last name wrong, but she paints miniatures, and she's on the Geek and Sundry Network. And she's just a little thing, but just a delightful gal. We really got to talk for a few minutes, and that was really kind of cool. And then I got to hang out with my good friend Steve Avery. Ooh. And Stever. You call him Stever. Stever is hilarious. You know, if you haven't had a chance to hang out with Steve Avery, man, it's a hoot. So Cool Mini or Not was fantastic. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the games I played later on. But that's my mailbag segment.
Everyone's saying con jerky. Rob Rouse loves your con jerky, I think.
Hey, Rob! Rob's on the show. Yeah, baby. Rob's awesome. I love Blue Peg, Pink Peg, and Rob and Patrick and Christina and Jeremy. They're some of my close friends in the hobby. I love these guys to death. Their show is hilarious and so much better than ours, Barry.
Yeah. Oh no, we can aspire to it.
We can try to become like Blue Peg. In fact, we should get our own medallions like this Blue Peg, Pink Peg. You know, Piranha Pig.
I reckon we should make our own board game called the Burky and Badger Board Game Babble Show.
Oh, I like that. And whoever babbles the most wins?
No, I wouldn't say it would be like that. I would make it like a worker placement game, maybe, or where we've got to try and be entertaining, but we need to do the research beforehand, unlike what we do on the real podcast. I reckon that would be a great thing to do, actually. I might start sketching some ideas for a board game based on a podcast.
We should do it. How to launch the podcast, how to get followers, all of that kind of stuff. It'll be like S in the game.
It would be like S in the game. Have you played that?
Very obscure, right?
Yeah. Have you played it though?
No, I haven't played it. I just see Lance Meister on the front of the cover.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, speaking of Lance Meister, we just a couple weeks ago we shot the video for Spoils of War, the new game coming out from Arcane Wonders, and we had a blast doing that. I'm neck deep in my video editing. I've got about 40 hours already into the project. Probably got another 10, 15 to go. But next week, we are going to be releasing Spoils of War on Board Game Theater. Super fun stuff. I'm having a blast laughing. Last night, I was up till almost 2 o'clock. And get what? If you're watching this show live, or if you listen to this show and you want to get something special from Burky and Badger, I'm going to show you this here. I have a promo card in this game. Is that cool or what?
That's cool.
It's Burky's Shield. It's a level 1 artifact from the game. And I have these promo cards. And if you email me at burky@boardgametheater.com, Burky, B-U-R-K-Y, @boardgametheater.com, I'll mail you one of these promos. And if I'm going to be at Origins, I'm going to be at Gen Con, going to be hopefully at Dice Tower Con. We're doing a lot of things with our new game toppers, and we're going to have game toppers all over the show at Gen Con. But if you come up to me, I'd be happy to give you a promo card for the new game Spoils of War. So look for that next week on Board Game Theater. And you're also going to see a big contest where we're going to be giving away several copies and some deluxe components for Spoils of War.
Woo!
Woohoo! Pretty
yes.
cool.
And thanks for reminding me, there was another box that came in the post recently as well. And it was from you.
Oh, from me? From moi?
Yes. It was c'est toi. C'est toi qui.
That was a pretty good Miss Piggy, wasn't it? That was a pretty good Piranha Piggy.
That was not bad. Miss me. Thank you very much for the box. I now have Spoils of War. So, I have Spoils of War. It's planned to be played tomorrow. So, hopefully on the next Burky and Badger show, we will be doing a review of Spoils of War.
Yeah, that's big fun. I think this game is going to have a lot of legs. And if you like that kind of party type of game where you can sit at a pub and play and something you don't have to take too seriously, but still has a lot of fun. It's Liar's Dice on steroids. So
it
totally takes it up another notch. I think you'll really like it. Beautiful production.
Yes. Looking forward to that. Shall we move on, my good sir?
Yeah, let's move on to our segment, Things That Make You Go,
Edit
Babble
out.
Babble.
Things that make us go, Board game news. Burky and Badger reflect on the current events that are happening in the board game industry. Some may be good, some may be bad. But there are all things that make us go,
Yeah.
Things that make you sound good.
Things that make us go, So tell us, what is making you go, Barry?
Okay. Let's get rid of that. So you can see my face.
There you go.
Something that's been making me go, is something which is kind of like depressing at the same time is quite encouraging, is the amount of Kickstarters that are out there at the moment. And I'm not just talking about any old Kickstarters. I'm talking about some really, really high quality produced Kickstarters.
Yeah.
It's incredible. We had Alessandro Prat from Horrible Games on our last show with their game Alone. And I mean, you look at the page and you look at all the production quality that's gone into this Kickstarter before the game has even been made, and it is amazing. Again, Clash of Rage, which I've just done a Kickstarter video from, they give me a prototype, and it is near the final version of the game, apart from there's no minis. There's also Galaxy of Trine. There's Rise of the Necromancer. I could go on. And also Headhunters has just gone on.
Oh, yeah, Headhunters, yeah.
And that is just blowing my mind, the amount that is on there. But the thing is, that's depressing is the amount of money that these guys are now making, because the values that they're getting, they're getting their targets, and then they're just getting a bit more. And it seems like there's not enough money to go around for all these Kickstarters. People are going to have to really, really choose between all these fantastic looking Kickstarters which are up running at the same time. And that's how I kind of feel as well. I've clicked on a few, and I'm following a few because I'm really interested, because the games look really good, the games sound really good and interesting. But unfortunately, funds as they are, I can't back anything at the moment. So it's really sad news, because I can't back anything. But again, as I said, their targets, they're not into the millions like a lot of games in the past. And I'm just wondering if this is a problem that we're going to have now with Kickstarter. There's going to be so many games running at the same time, and people are just going to go for those known ones, so like the Cool Mini or Not ones, and they are going to be the ones that are going to pass the 1 million, 2 million barrier, where all the other ones are going to just scrape through.
Yeah, I think it's a good discussion. It's almost like we could have a whole topic on it, because I think the Kickstarter phenomenon, if you will, in board gaming, I mean, it's been very significant because of the notoriety of some of the larger titles, like you mentioned with the Cmon games, Rising Sun, raising $4.7 kajillion, and Kingdom Death Monster, how many millions did that thing raise? And even Gloomhaven just recently, huge success. So it's fantastic to see those things, but that does not mean that every project, just because it has miniatures in it. I mean, I think it used to be that, if you produce miniatures, now it's going to be a success. But, a lot of people are producing miniatures now, and the prices of these games are going up too. I mean, the Gamelin Games one that was Land and Heroes and Sky, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They had to reboot it once because they had their price point pretty high and it didn't do very well. They surpassed their, I know there's some controversy about that whole thing, but they repriced it so that their base game was at $79. Well, I mean, 5-10 years ago, if you would have said $79 for a game, we would all went,
yeah. Exactly.
But now the bar is being raised with production value and presentation, all of those things. And a lot of pre-marketing really goes into Kickstarter now too.
Yeah. And again, I kind of feel sad that there's a lot of these companies, and a lot of them have done a lot of pre-marketing, and they just don't, they seem to be like snail crawling. They've gone past their funding limit, and they're just going in slow motion.
Yeah. Matthew Ward says that there's a lot of Kickstarters right now, and we always do see a lot of that pre-Gen Con hype. And he said, I'm grateful to have a group to spread around the burden. And, I think that's true. There's only so much that we can individually buy on Kickstarter. You see, I don't buy that much. I try to support a few of them when I can. I did back Rising Sun, though. I was pretty excited about that. Well, one of the things that's been making me go, is, most of you know, the Spiel des Jahres was just announced. Yes. And these 3 different categories of German awards. And it always makes me go, And know why?
Why?
Because I hardly know what these games are ever.
Ah, that's strange, because I actually do know what these games are. And that's strange.
Yeah, I hate that. The game came out a while ago, and it's like we didn't even know what it was, and here it's getting all this praise and buzz, and we don't know what it is. I'll just go through them really quickly if you haven't already heard. I know this just was announced, but for the Spiel des Jahres, the big SDJ award for the game of the year, and this is kind of a family medium weight type of category, King Domino by Bruno Catala. I've actually played this particular game, and I love it. I think it's fantastic.
It's everywhere here in France. Every kind of festival, every you know, game convention, everything, it's always there, and there are people playing it, and young kids playing it and adoring it.
Oh, it's just great. I think it's a fantastic, light, quick entry level type of game, and the tiles it's produced really well. Then there's Magic Maze, and this here again, it's published by Sit Down, distributed by Pegasus Spiel. I don't know anything about it.
I've played it several times and enjoy it.
Really?
Yes.
Well, and then there's another game called El Dorado, and this is by Ravensburger. It's a Reiner Knizia game. Well, that sounds good to me. I like Ravensburger. I like Knizia. I don't know anything about it.
You like any burger. What am I on about? You're a meat man.
I like Happy Burgers. Yeah, I like any kind of burger. Zombie burger or whatever kind of burger.
There's some good choices there.
Yeah, I can only speak to the one. The children's game, the Kinderspiel. The Kinderspiel is Captain Silver from Queen Games. Well, I don't know anything about that one.
Me neither.
Ice Cool. I hear this is fantastic. I haven't played it, but I guess this is becoming kind of the dexterity game of choice that I've heard a lot of people talk about. Yep. I've seen the game. It looks great. Haven't played it.
I've got it and played it many times.
You like it?
Fun game. Yeah.
Okay. And then here we are, our friends at Yellow, The Mysterious Forest.
Played it.
You have played it?
Yes, I've played it.
You like it?
It's a memory game with a difference. It's really good. Maybe I've spoken about it in the past episode.
Maybe you did. The artwork looks really great.
Yeah, it's a very simple children's game, and but it works. It's got some nice little ideas which are different. So,
well, makes me go because I don't know. And then we go on to the Kennerspiel. This is the more little heavier strategy game, and there's a game by Cosmos that's called Exit the Game, The Pharaoh's Tomb.
Yeah, which is an escape room game, isn't it?
I believe so, but again, here don't know much about it. Raiders of the North Sea is out, and that's published by Sverkraft Verlag. Sverkraft Verlag. The Swedish staff is talking now. Well, people love Raiders of the North Sea. I haven't actually played it, so again, I can't comment. Terraforming Mars, though, by Stronghold Games. Wow. Fantastic game.
Yeah, a lot of people said that it probably wouldn't get onto the list at Spiel, so.
Wow. Well, it's there, and it's a great game. It's getting a ton of pub all over the place. It sells out all the time. This was a great hit for Stephen Bonacore and Stronghold Games. Anyway, that's my things that make you go, I always, whenever the Spiel comes out, it seems like so much of it is a little irrelevant to me personally because I don't know what these games are yet.
Yeah.
I'll find out a year down the road,
Yeah, I kind of, when I looked at the Dice Tower nominations, it was kind of the reverse for me. It was like I hardly know any of the games in the Dice Tower nominations, and it's like there's one or two, but do I vote for those one or two games? And it's like, what do you do?
Wow.
What do you do?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that. Yeah, to us, those games are so familiar on that list, so that's interesting.
Yeah, and that's why I'm over here in France, and he's over there in Snowland.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. Let's move on to our next segment, some games that we've played called The Good, The Not So Bad, and The Ugly.
Where are the images? Maybe I should be. There's the good.
Oh no!
That's
there
all right.
You go.
That's
There's
all right.
the good.
That's all right. Ellie, let's go.
But not so bad. Wait for it. And the ugly.
Boom. So do you want to go through and explain both of those? Explain our little show here, Barry?
Okay. Okay. The good, the bad, and the ugly section is our section where we do our first impressions of games. And we either rate them as good, we really liked it, and we want to play it again. Not so good, which means that, you know, if it flew under our nose, there's a possibility that we might play it. And then there's bad, which we would probably not even think about playing it again. And this is to tie in with our IPs as seen on telly. Board games that are transferred from telly to your table. For the good, we have, I was going to say Spock.
No, it's Kurt.
Yeah.
Scotty, when will the next Star Trek game be here?
Captain, games with IP aren't built in a day. But if you say it will be, take two. But if you, I can't see. If you say, it should be you, shouldn't it? But if you say it will be ready in 4 months, who am I to dispute it?
Okay. Gong. That's a Gong Show award there.
Yeah.
Oh, the not so bad.
They're not so bad. We have a scene from The Godfather, and there's someone whispering into The Godfather's ear. There's a nasty rumor that you will be releasing a board game.
You know, I made Cmon an offer that they couldn't refuse. You know what I mean?
That's very good. That's very good. You've been practicing that. And our ugly sees our good friend there, Mr. Kevin Burkhardt, being suffocated by Darth Vader. Now you'll have to watch the video to find out how he's suffocating him. It could be in his cloak, in his coat, in his coat, in his cloak, or it could be where he's
being choked by the Force. I'm having a Force choke.
You're having a forced choke.
Yeah.
Can you do a Vader voice?
I told you to stop asking when the expansion for Rebellion is coming out.
And
that was bad.
That was bad.
That was bad. Can you add laugh tracks?
I'll add laugh tracks.
Yeah, please add a lot of laugh tracks because this is not very laughable.
No.
Well, the good, the not so bad, and ugly. I'll tell you the first game that I've been playing. And this game, I'm going to give a brief explanation about it. You guys can guess. Those of you that are on the chat, feel free to guess. But this is a game that is designed by somebody that's been on our show before. There's a little clue. In this game, it has orcs, it has elves, it has hobgoblins. And these guys love weapons. They really love them. But, you know, wait, there's more. There's a salesman that likes to sell weapons to these different races.
Ooh.
And so they go and they acquire these weapons. They upgrade their strength of these weapons so that their weapons can stay on the board. And there's a really innovative little track of next to these races. The more weapons that you put on a race that you've sponsored, in a sense, that you have a relationship with, you get extra gold for selling to them. You're going to pay a kind of a premium, but the whole trick of the game is to kind of combo that whole thing with these selling to these races, but sometimes you have to sell to the other. And the weapons, they have battle axes, they have swords, and you can upgrade once you're a master and you have up to 5 of these on any particular given weapon. You can create Vorpal weapons, which are basically undefeatable unless you have someone else who has a Vorpal weapon. And they compete against each other. Whoever has the most weapons on the track at the end of these 4 seasons on the game is going to get extra gold for those weapons that are the stronger ones left on these tracks, and then that continues along. It has a really neat little timing scoring mechanism there, and at the end of the game, the one who has the most gold wins. A little clue, my son Josiah and my good friend Ben, we played it, and Josiah schooled me quite well on that game, but Ben ended up winning.
Aha! Can I ask,
yeah.
Was this guest Mike Fitzgerald?
Nope, not Mike Fitzgerald. Got to go back a little further.
Okay.
You met him at Essen.
I met a lot of people at Essen.
Yep. His first initial is Gil, and his last initial is Hova.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
That guy.
Okay. Matthew Ward thinks it's Vault Wars?
No, Matthew Ward. That's a fun game, but that's not the one.
Okay. I don't know. I played a prototype with Gil at Essen last year. He'd come up with a word game, which was quite. I'm not very good at word games. I'm really pants at word games. But I was actually quite good at this. I was actually quite good at his game. I beat him.
Oh, and you liked it. Well, he designed the networks. Of course, we featured that on the show. I love the networks. Love Gil.
Yeah. Maybe he let me win.
Well, this game, I'll just let you know, it's called. I guess you're going to have to guess at what you think. Do you think I think it's good? Do you think I think it's bad? Not so bad? Or do you think I think it's ugly?
Well, what's the game?
It's called Battle Merchants.
Okay. Well, if Josiah has taught you well and someone else won, and that seems to have like made a little bit of a sting in the
what I meant by schooled me is he kicked my butt.
Ah, right. Okay. Scolded you.
Schooled me.
Schooled you.
Yeah, he didn't. Not only did he teach me the game, he kicked my butt.
Okay, yeah, but okay, maybe I'm speaking correct English here. He scolded you. He put you over his knee and he spanked your body. Oh,
yeah, no, that wouldn't happen. But there ain't no lap big enough.
Ain't no mountain tall enough. Ain't no valley deep enough.
You need a big lap to bend me over. I think I'll tell you that. So okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna say you actually liked it because it sounded like you liked it.
So you think I think it's good?
You think it's good, and I think it's good.
And you're right. It's good.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
I actually met Gil Hova for the first time at Gen Con about 3 years ago, and he was just getting ready to go and show it on the Board Game Geek live video, and he was waiting for a spot, and he started telling me about the game. It wasn't long after that I was able to pick it up, and it was produced by Minion Games. That's before he started out his formal Ferret games. Mm-hmm. And this game, I think, is under the radar. It's just a lot of fun. Got kind of fun little cartoony artwork, really great production. I don't know. I just really like it. We had our fantasy LLC coins that were the Drover and Forge coins that we played with, and that made it fun too. And everybody enjoyed the game. I'm not very good at it, but I think it's a great, fun little game, and a lot of strategy, a lot of choices, and a lot of interaction. But play the game in an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
How about you?
Okay, my game that I'm going to talk about sees players as house owners, and what they'll be doing is they will be selecting a couple of cards which they will add to their house to decorate it. They'll probably be installing a kitchen, and they will probably be installing a games room, and they will probably put a garage and then get a shelving unit to go into it. And eventually everyone will have a house that is filled up, and you will score points judging on the house, whether it's got enough toilets, if it's functional, if it has functionality. Also, you get points for your roof, if you have the roof which is all the same color instead of different colors. So it's a very light family style game, played with cards, but you're actually building and decorating a house. Do you know what this game is?
No, I don't have a clue about that.
Okay. Through the magic of technology, we will make him come alive with Dream House.
Dream House?
Yes. This is a very light family style game. As I said, it's kind of like, it's not really drafting, but you'll be placing out some cards in the middle of the table, and you will have room cards at the bottom, and at the top you'll have tiles and roof tiles and special powers like handyman, which can come along and give you bonus points at the end of the game, or a drill that you can use to swap cards around in your house at the end of the game. It's extremely light. You can play it in about 20 minutes, but it looks gorgeous. It's very, very colorful. It has enough replayability for young families that make it fun. And as you can see, it's coming out from Asmodee.
Asmodee, yeah.
Oh, actually, my copy is Asmodee. Yes, a friend of mine gave me a copy of this, and it's very, very simple. You're just choosing a pair of cards, leaving the rest to the other players, and then they choose a pair of cards. And there's not a lot of backstabbery unless you take the first player marker. But yeah, it's very light, very quick. Anybody can play it. I wouldn't even need to teach you how to play this, Kevin. You would just go, oh, that's how you play it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well.
So what do I think about this game?
Well, it sounds good. It looks good. Sometimes you get a little bored if they're too simple, though. So I'm going to think you're just going to say not so bad.
Kevin. You got it correct. It's not so bad. It is a very, very light fest. There's not a lot of complexity to it. The only complexity comes sometimes you're trying to pair two rooms together, so you get you more points. Because if you can make a connection of 3 living rooms, it will give you a maximum of like 8 points. Whereas if you only have one card living room on its own, it's only worth 1 point. There's some cards which do that. Once you pair them together, they give you more points. There's one room, I think it's maybe it might be the lobby or something like that. It gives you no points if you put it in your house, but if you put another lobby next to it, it gives you lots of points. So yeah, it's very light, it's very fun, it's very colorful, very attractive. I recommend this for anyone with families. It's not really a gamer's game. It's, as I said, it's very light, very, very, very light. It's like icing on a cake, yeah. And but it just works. It's a simple idea, and I can see this selling by the bucket loads.
Yeah, it looks cute.
In your store.
Accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I played another game at the Cool Mini or Not Expo, Cmon Expo. And this is a game that I've heard a lot about, hadn't had an opportunity. It is the sequel, and the Cmon is actually coming out with another in the series of this game. But this here is a game that came out a couple of years ago. It was a big Kickstarter. A lot of people talked about it, and it has miniatures in it. And then they came out with another revision of it, and now they're coming out with another one, and it has the similar type of miniatures. Can you guess what it is?
Yeah, Zombicide.
Yeah, it's Zombicide. Well, Zombicide Black Plague. Now, I was able to play this with Sam Healy and Z Garcia from the Dice Tower. Also got to play with, I think it was Robert from Epic Gaming Night podcast, and Derek Porter. And I was Baldric. If you go and watch my video on BoardGameTheater.com, you are going to see Baldric with his great balls of fire.
I have a cunning plan.
Well, this is a dungeon crawl game. Of course, it's set in this medieval thing. You've got these cool little player board that have little pegs in them to mark your health, to mark what level you're at for the different abilities that you have, whether they be spells or weapons and things that you're carrying with you. And you're all going through this dungeon. You're trying to open up doors. You're trying to, there's several scenarios, but you're trying to get this information before all the zombies spawn and all the bad zombies spawn and come in and knock you out. So a lot of you have heard about Zombicide, so I probably don't have to explain it too much, but typical cooperative trying to get out of the dungeon scenario. What do you have to think? What do you think I thought about that, Barry?
I think that you thought that it was thinkable to think that it was actually good.
Now, you know my disposition towards dungeon crawls.
Yeah, I know after our last show is but I think this one stood out because one, the company you were with, and two, there's been a lot of good things said about this version of Zombicide. It looks a lot better and it plays a lot better.
Yeah, you're right. It's good. Like I said, that it hasn't been in my wheel. Way to go, Barry. Just made your day.
It's made my day.
Yeah, it's, dungeon crawls are something that I haven't done that much. Growing up, I didn't play that many of them. And typically, I'm not a big cooperative fan. I don't like cooperative games where I feel like I'm just being told what to do and I really don't have a choice. And I didn't feel that way at all in this game. I had lots of choices. And when I got that second scroll, which gave me my second ball of fire, you don't want to go with one ball. You always need two balls.
Were they great?
Okay? They were great balls of fire. and when it came to my turn, I just sat outside the dungeon walls where the zombies were spawning while everyone else was running around foraging. I would just fireball those guys. And I was beloved of the group. I had my big flowing white beard. I mean, they could have made that character after me in Zombicide. So
there you go. You found another job afterwards.
The new game that's coming out. Yeah, exactly. The new game that's coming out, though, is called The Green Horde from Zombicide.
Oh,
and
yes.
This is going to have orcs and orc zombies and all that, and they're coming into this environment, and that looked really good. It even has a siege engine. Yeah, like a trebuchet or catapult trebuchet type of thing. Looks awesome, and of course, the
Your French
production
is getting
values.
better.
Yeah.
Yes, trebuchet.
Blah blah.
And fâché.
Fâché.
Fâché. Yes. Yes, I looked it up, and yes, it is French word for angry.
Oh, I was right.
You were right.
Yeah, you had me all mixed up and thinking, oh gosh, I'm repeating something I don't know nothing about and just sounding like an idiot again.
Don't worry. Who looks like the idiot? The guy that's learning French or the guy that doesn't know nothing about French?
Fâché.
Yeah. Touché.
So do you have another one that you want to talk about in the good, the not so bad and ugly?
Sorry, clear my voice. Yes, I do. And again, this is a game from a guest that we've had before on the show.
Wow.
In this game,
It's like we're re-rolling. We're re-rolling our guests.
Re-rolling the guests.
Re-roll the guests. That'd be fun. We could make a game out of that. We just roll them down the aisle, and some will roll better than others based on their shape.
Yeah, like they do in Switzerland. They roll that big gourd of cheese down a hill and they chase it, and the person that catches it is the winner.
We could roll Rob and chase him down the hill, but he might have momentum. But I had to have a lot of momentum if I was rolling.
Yeah. Anyway, this game is a deduction game. You're going up against Sherlock Holmes to try and solve a crime, and you're trying to guess the who, where, and with what. Okay, yeah. But you're working together as a team, and you are trying to go through the evidence, maybe eliminate some of the evidence because it's not valid, and you're trying to do this, as I said before, Sherlock can figure it out, and also get enough kind of points to be successful. It's cooperative, and it's a card game.
It's a card game. Well, this must be that new one, Sherlock and Watson. Really?
Yeah.
What is it?
It is Beyond Baker Street from Robin Lees.
Oh, that's right. I should have known that.
You should have known that. There it is.
Robin.
Yes. So this game, which everyone says is Hanabi, ripoff. No, it's not a Hanabi ripoff. It has the same element as Hanabi. You have a hand of cards in front of you and you can't see what they are, and so you're giving clues to each other, which will advance Sherlock Holmes along the track. But at the same time, there is a lot more to think about, because the amount of cards in the deck are very limited. So you have like a limited amount of cards to use to accuse these, well, to confirm the evidence that's being accused.
Yes, I know that.
Yes,
confirm the evidence. Yes.
And obviously, you need to eliminate evidence, which is going to move you up the point track as well, because you need to arrive at 20 points, as well as solve the case and do it before Sherlock. So it's a lot more complex, but it's got levels that you can make the game more harder and more simpler.
Yes, levels, more levels.
I played this with my daughter, who's 10, and after playing a couple of games, she kind of got the hang of it. And on the last game, we actually managed to win. We managed to get the clues, we managed to find everything, and we managed to get 20 points before Sherlock was there. And it was teamwork, but it was not impossible. But as I said, there's levels. You can change the possibility of solving the crime. And you can also have roles. You can take on these characters. And again, they come in different levels. You can have a very simple role, which will let you remove a card, which has been wrongly, insinuated as the evidence for free without taking any penalties. And then there's really hard ones where you're not allowed to do anything. Well, not even talk. You've got to do it with your eyes closed. I don't know. I didn't look at the characters, but there are ways of making this game extremely hard, and it was quite hard. But once we got the Hanabi system going, it was a walk in the park, and it was fun. And I've just given you my.
I was just going to say, it's good. Because you can play, you love cooperative games. If you can play it with your daughter, you like deduction. It was rounding out to say what you just said. It was fun. It was a good game.
Yeah, this is a Hanabi replacer for me, because it's got theme, and it's got you can make it a lot harder. Hanabi is the same thing, and you're just trying to beat the score, which is because once you get the full score of 25 on Hanabi, it's like, well, I've done it now. Let's go in and base jump. But no, in this, you can make the challenges harder. You can make it so you have to put less evidence in the impossible box. You can make Sherlock start a bit closer. There's lots of things. As I said, there's powers of these characters that you can take at the beginning of the game as well, which can make the game harder or simpler. So that's Beyond Baker Street. Really, really nice team.
What's Robin's name of his company again? Hello. Looks like we just froze up. Live TV, folks. I don't know if I'm live, if it's me, or if it's Barry. Oh, looks like we're back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Was that you or was that me?
It said on my screen, snap, something had broken, so probably me.
I'm seeing two of you now.
Dun, dun, dun.
So can you guys see us out there in the livosphere?
Livosphere.
Yeah, the livosphere.
Let's have a look.
Okay, now it's gone. Now it's just me and you.
Okay.
It's me and you. It's you and me. When we're together, we're inseparable. It's you and me. Okay.
Sorry about that. We're back.
We're back. So,
no,
Beyond Baker
doesn't
Street.
have a company. No, he doesn't have a company.
Who published it?
It was, well, it depends where you're from. Z-Man Games or Philosopher or some other company.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Philosophia.
Philosophia.
Yes. Well, just want to go, before we go into our Babble topic, we just want to give a little sponsorship shout out to Arcane Wonders, the designers of the Dice Tower Essential games. You know, they've got Sheriff of Nottingham, which is just a smash fun game. It's a hit, you know, everywhere. It sells like crazy. Onitama, which is one of the better little abstract games that are out there. Speechless, the party game. In addition to that, they have Royals, which is really a great strategic, lot of point salad type of game that's really a lot of fun. But they have coming out in June, the middle of June is the target street date, is the new game called Spoils of War, designed by Jason Medina and Brian Pope, actually the owner of Arcane Wonders. And this is a liar's dice game. I mean, you're Vikings that have pillaged the village, and now you're deciding how to divide all the spoils. Rather than beat each other's brains out, what are you going to do? A game of chance. And you roll dice and you bet on these dice. And it gets very exciting because there's all kinds of artifacts and all kinds of different spoils. There's dragon's eggs and there's weapons and there's jewels and all of this different kind of thing that you get to collect these sets, and you get points for partial sets, 6 points. If you get a full set, one of each 4, you're going to get 12 points. If you get a dragon's hoard where you have one of each and an artifact, you're going to get another bonus of 8 points, plus the gold that's on the card. And then these artifacts are so cool. They're all Norse themed. They're really fantastic. But you might get the dragon's tooth, for instance, that let you re-roll 2 dice. These artifacts break the rules. Just takes liar's dice, puts it on steroid, makes it a lot of fun. This is going to be a hit. That's my projection. Projection. No. Prediction. That's the word I was looking for. No, I really think this is going to be fantastic. And so Spoils of War coming out in June from our good friends at Arcane Wonders. And now on to the Babble.
And now it's time for the Babble, 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 Burky and Badger's Board Game Babble.
Hey, babbling with Barry and Burky. That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
Yeah, we're talking about IPs in games. We titled this show As Seen on TV, talking about intellectual property in board games. Barry,
Yes.
what do you have to say? What kind of questions, what kind of thoughts do you have about IPs in board game?
Well, before I go on, if you're watching this live, please let us know what your favorite IP game is or your least favorite IP game. I'd love to know. I'll give you a shout out as well, won't we?
Absolutely.
Yes. So we have seen Fantasy Flight take on the IP of Star Wars, and now everything in the world is Star Wars related, from your mustard to your pajamas to your
As it should be, Barry.
Dental
As it
floss.
should be.
Star Wars dental floss.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you're okay with that. Well, Fantasy Flight owns Star Wars, and they have turned out a bucket load of Star Wars games. And there was a time when there were board games that come out with Star Wars on it, and they were really pants. But things seem to be turning around. Or are they? That's the question.
Or are they?
Are they turning around? Because there's more and more IP games popping up. I mean, for instance, there's an IP game for The Thing, which is a film from John Carpenter, which has got me extremely intrigued. But I am a bit curious whether it's going to be a pile of pants or a money grab, or if it's going to be a game which really encapsulates the theme. Again, there's been recently The Evil Dead on Kickstarter, which, in my personal opinion, looks like a roll and move pants game. The only good thing about it is probably the figurines. So yeah, IPs have this kind of general impression that they are bad. Would you say, or would you not?
Well, I think in the past, I think that was pretty common. I think it depends on the particular IP. And when you talk about the word money grab, that can be taken negatively, or it can be kind of a truthful statement. I think it's like, you know, what company isn't going to produce a game that wants to make money? I don't think that in itself is wrong. However, if they just slap an IP on it just so that people buy it, you know, I want to see the Simpsons Monopoly, you know, so it's just Monopoly, but they like Simpsons, so they buy it, you know. Is it make it a good game? Is it, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
No, I don't know really what to say about that. I think one of the I don't know this company all that well, but every year you see a company that's out at Gen Con that has an amazing booth, and they have a ton of games, but they, in my opinion, are like the king of IPs. And it isn't Fantasy Flight, and it isn't Cool Mini. It's a company called Cryptozoic.
Mm-hmm.
And Cryptozoic has a potload. Like when you look at the IPs that they have produced games are, and I can't speak directly to a lot of the different games. I can talk about what other people have said. So I'm not out to bash them or anything like that. But, you know, they've got the DC deck building game that generally is not, you know, very highly rated would be my perception of that. They've got Ghostbusters.
Yep.
They've got I had a whole bunch of them here. You know, they have the Supernatural card playing game. They have some Lord of the Rings IPs. They have more Supernatural. They have Batman Flux.
Wow.
And you know, they have Spyfall. They have which is actually a pretty good game.
And not based on an IP.
They've got Archer. They have The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's a potload of them here, and I would generally say that they've got the Big Bang Theory party game, which I heard is a real pile. But I hate to say that because I haven't played it, so you got to take that for what it's worth. I'm not out to bash them, but
you've heard it's a pile. There you go. You've heard. You haven't played it. You haven't experienced it. You're just passing on a message. Someone said it was a load of rubbish. And yeah, as you say, Cryptozoic might be a money grab company which take Uno and then whack pictures of your favorite TV show on it and then sell it as the best thing since sliced bread. And that is a disappointing money grab when you hear about games which are just re-themings of classic old games like Parcheesi, but it comes with these really cool minis of your favorite film like Dark Crystal or Mission Impossible. So you got your own little Tom Cruise mini, but you're just basically rolling a 6 to get out of your base and then moving around the board to try and get home. That's Mission Impossible.
Well, I think
Mission Impossible.
It wasn't. It wasn't too long ago. Scott Morris designed a game that had an IP on it, and it was called Firefly Shiny Dice.
Mm-hmm.
And this game came out at Gen Con, and it was actually a pretty highly sought after game at Gen Con. Generally speaking, I don't think it got a lot of really great reviews. I love, you know, Scott's a great guy. And one of the things that was interesting, we played that game at Gen Con, and it went much longer than I would have liked to have seen it gone. And I played it with Daniel Solis from Costa Rica and my daughter and son. And part of it was the IP required them to have these different mission type cards. And I mentioned it to Scott. I said, you know, I said the game really dragged on. It was fun, and the theme was really there, but it just dragged on too long. And he said, play it without the cards. Just play the dice game. And he said he was limited by what he could do because of the IP.
Yeah.
And it was produced really great, big chunky dice and all that. And we played it that way, and it's way better.
Strange.
So there, the IP, in a sense, might have gotten a little bit in the way because of marketing, and the restrictions and or requirements. That an IP is going to say, hey, if we're taking this to market, we want this, this, and this. And it seems like they tend to want these static TV shots of the artwork rather than custom artwork.
Yeah, it's cheaper, isn't it?
I hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a good sign to say whether the IP game is going to be any good or not if it uses original art instead of just Photoshops. Because again, when I look back at Labyrinth, the board game, I've heard lots of bad things about it. Again, I haven't played it. I've heard lots of bad things about it, but it just uses Photoshops of images from the film, and it has nice minis which are based on the characters. So it looks like they're using the minis to sell the game in a way. Where was I going? Who are these games are for, really? Are publishers aiming to a certain audience when they sell for an IP? For example, long pause as he thinks about his example.
That was in your little brain and then just flew out the other hole.
If, for example, someone makes, like you said, a Firefly game and they sell it as Firefly this board game, and then someone makes Firefly the Monopoly game, there's two different audiences that you're really appealing for, because Firefly, the board game, is mainly for board gamers who are fans of Firefly, whereas Firefly, the Monopoly game, is going to be for people that have friends who have birthdays and they know that their friend likes Firefly, so it's like, oh, this would be a good present for them, and then they buy that for them. So it's two different audiences, but I don't know if is it detrimenting the word?
Yeah, detrimental to the hobby.
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the doobie.
Yeah, I was watching your tongue fall down the stairs.
It's like it was my tongue.
Yeah, mine does that all the time, so that's why we compliment one another, right? Well, I think you're exactly right. I think these money grab type of things that obviously it works, or they wouldn't be producing them.
Precisely.
IPs have an audience, and people who are in, the Big Bang Theory party game. I bet you any money I would hate that game. I like the Big Bang Theory, but in the last few years, it's kind of starting to where I don't care much about it anymore. But the game, it's like, why? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I have no interest in it. And a lot of these games that look like they are that money grab scenario, how many copies of Love Letter do I need? Honestly, I like the Batman Love Letter the best.
Yeah. And
but
again,
the Hobbit one was,
Yeah, I think again it's appealing to different audiences. So you've got your Batman fans, your Hobbit fans, your purists, Japanese fans. Yeah.
But there, if I was talking about IPs, I would much rather see a Hobbit game, a Lord of the Rings theme game IP versus the Batman IP personally.
Yeah.
No, Batman's great. I'll play Batman games, no problem. But when I looked at when I played both of those games, the IP was not why I liked the Batman one. It was because I liked the game mechanism and everything about the Batman Love Letter better.
Okay, and it kind of tied in.
So, yeah. So I would, when a company does take an IP though, and then they really do justice to the lore of that IP. And they really care about that so that it doesn't disenfranchise, its audience base. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah.
In fact, that brings up, this is a little rabbit trail, but I'm going to say it anyway. I posted this on Twitter on Board Game Theater just a little while ago, but Star Trek. Okay, noted IP. A lot of intellectual property. I mean, Star Trek canon is deep. Fans are incredibly loyal. Trekkers or Trekkies, whichever one you want to call them. Trekkers seems to be the most official term. But when we really want authentic Star Trek stuff. So if a game comes out with a Star Trek IP, we expect, we really want it to do something awesome with that IP. Now, recently, we've got a new show coming out called Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
And they've screwed around with the makeup for the Klingons.
Have they?
Yes. And what I've seen so far looks like crap. It looks like the new it's not Worf, it's not Gowron, it's not Kimpek. It's they don't have long hair, and this hair that they wore was glorious and had hit huge lore around the Klingons. Klingons are my favorite race. Now they're messing with it. Okay. So the point is, you know, and I know we got the story about the augments, and we've got the story of why the Klingons in the original episode, you know, didn't have ridges, and we can talk about all that. But my point is, it's the same thing in games. If you don't do justice to the IP, you just throw it out there just so that you can sell it based on the name versus doing something awesome with it. I'm seeing some IPs now becoming very thoughtfully produced. I mean, look at Upper Deck doing Legendary.
Yeah, that works.
Look at them do, Aliens, Predators versus Aliens. I didn't get a chance to play the Little China game. What was that called again?
Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
But these are thoughtfully produced games.
Yeah, the Alien Legacy one I played, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Took me a while to understand what I was doing because I was being taught by a French person. But yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah, it felt like Aliens. It felt like you were kind of reliving the film. And yeah, I kind of enjoyed it, which is more than I can say for another. I've actually sold it. I had Alien, the board game, which came out in after the film come out, and it basically just lets you have these. It's cardboard tokens of photoshopped pictures from the film of all your characters, and you relive the scenarios. You have a map, and it was roll a dice to move, roll a dice to attack, roll a dice to find out how much acid damage you have. And it was kind of meh. And it was just basically, it was a tie-in with the film because the film was out in, and that was the 90s. But for me, it was like, oh, gotta have that game because it's Aliens, and let's buy that mug.
Well, why don't we talk about some of our favorites in the IPs that are out there? Maybe we can list off a few of our top 5, for instance, and maybe some of our worst IPs that are out there.
Oh dear, I didn't do my homework.
It's kind of a tough one. You know, I actually had a struggle too because I don't have that many games that actually have IPs on them.
Okay, no, nor do I. Okay, one of mine, I don't no longer own it, and that is X-Wing. The mechanics and the idea fit the idea of dogfighting in space with the X-Wings going up against the TIE fighters. That was a very good IP integrated into an existing mechanic, which was the Wings of War, Wings of Glory system, which was something that I was interested in actually buying and playing with my dad because my dad doesn't play games. And I thought he likes old relic-y things. And then X-Wing come out and I was like, no, I'm going to buy this. I found it kind of boring after a while playing it, but the thing is, everything seemed to work. The figures, the minis were great. The mechanic ideas worked really well. I just didn't enjoy it. So that's one of my favorite IPs integrated into a board game.
Okay. Matthew Ward, he says he usually doesn't buy a lot of IPs, but Star Trek Frontiers is a good implementation of Mage Knight. It uses pics from the art, which is kind of blah. That was the thing I agreed on.
Yeah.
But the mechanics are good. Now they're retheming, so it's like a re-implementation, but it's using an IP to do so.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be very much interested in that because I love Star Trek, and so Star Trek Mage Knight wasn't that interesting to me. But then I heard that they streamlined a couple things, and that's supposed to be really good. So I would really like to try that one.
Yeah, me too. I was gonna buy Mage Knight a long time ago, and it kind of got put on the side. It put on the side because of the price of it. And then I heard about the Star Trek retheming, and then I saw the pictures, and I thought, no, I'm gonna put it on the side.
Yeah,
but maybe one day I'll get to play that.
Yeah, Rick Ortloff joined us too, and he said Frontiers looks good, and he hasn't had a chance to try it himself. But yeah, that's one I would like to try. One of the games that came out a few years ago that had a Star Trek feel on it, or Star Trek IP on it, was Star Trek Fleet Captains.
Mm-hmm.
And Fleet Captains, had the Enterprise, all of the Federation ships, and it had the Klingon ships. But then you were able to get the Dominion and the Romulan pack, and this was this big sprawling 4X exploration, moving these tiles and planets all over. The miniatures are fantastic. Comes in this bigger coffin style type of box, like we used to see back in the Milton Bradley days. I love that game. I wish that I would get it out more often. I haven't played it in a couple years. I really love that game. But there again, IP Star Trek, because it's done right, it's produced well. Great game. One of my top ones. How about you?
I would be remiss if I didn't say Conan, which is an IP based on a book and possibly a film.
There you go.
This is just a great game, which just uses it's a nice Euro mechanic, which kind of puts you in the dungeon crawling kind of world in a way, but it works really well in the game. It's a great, you come with all this great artwork and this great history. Again, this mechanic is going to be transferred into another IP, which is Batman. And yes, it works the same, and it feels the same, but it works. Maybe it will be put into another IP later on with some new rules, but Conan works, is an IP, and it's gorgeous. It plays really, really well, although there are the problems with the rules and lack of scenarios. But now there's lots of scenarios. There are lots of scenarios now.
That's awesome, Conan. Well, another one that is one of my favorite IPs that is out there. I just love J.R.R. Tolkien, and just love the whole Fellowship of the Ring, the whole Hobbit. Just love all of that stuff. And one of the ones that they came out with the War of the Ring, which I liked a lot. But I love the Battle of the Five Armies by Ares Games.
Okay.
This game is so awesome. It's a 2-player, sprawling, fantastic miniatures. But man, I just felt like I was in that whole Hobbit universe, and that the Battle of the Five Armies, the eagles were coming down, and miniatures and production value, of course, added to that. But this game is fantastic, and yet it had that little bit of that Axis and Ally-ish type of random, but it was so cool the way you could maneuver on that map and the different routes to cover your flank and all of those things. I just love that game. The card play was fantastic. The art did justice to the universe. Fantastic. Battle of Five Armies by Ares Games.
Yeah. The other one, I've got actually two other ones. Number one, which is Star Wars Imperial Assault, which is technically Descent, but the thing works. It just fits nicely into it.
Yeah.
There's nothing which stands out. They changed the text and the flavor of the game to make it fit like Star Wars, and it does. It feels like Star Wars, and so that works really well for me.
Yeah, that's a fantastic game. I could have put that on my list. If we're going Star Wars, I have to throw in Star Wars Rebellion. This is Star Wars in a box. This is the first, or the, starting with A New Hope, let's put it that way. This is just fantastic. I love it. It plays great as a 2-player game is my preferred way to play it. We've done it with 4, but just trying to find the rebel base and seeing what's happening in that whole universe, and trying to go out there and kind of maintain a little bit of where you're to get your generation of your engine building, so you can produce more stuff, and yet you're still exploring, and you've got this timer element and the tension that creates, and the back and forth. That it's Star Wars in a box, and Fantasy Flight, they do Star Wars right.
My last good IP game is an IP from a video game. It's called Crossmaster Arena, which really captures the MMO, if you can call it an MMO, of Wakfu and Doofus, which are online multiplayer games where you go around and it's combat in step time, which is like board games, and Crossmaster catches that perfectly. You have X amount of action points and X amount of movement points and X amount of life points, and you're doing missions and beating the snot out of each other and collecting money and spending it to power up. It's a mini version of those games, Wakfu and Doofus, and it works really well. And it's expanding. There's now Crossmaster Quest, which is I think is a lot more like the video game, because you're going on missions and fighting bad guys together.
Yeah, well, my last one, and this is probably one of my favorites. All of these I could probably mix them right together. I could have given an honorable mention to Star Wars Destiny. I haven't played it that much. I do have this couple of the starter kits, and I really do like it, and I think it's a great game. But if I want to rank them, I would probably put this at the top of the list, and that's Star Trek Ascendancy. That's the new game by Gale Force 9. Not only does the way this game sprawl out on the game map, I mean, it's different each time depending on how your planets are going to move at the angle that you're going to move them, so they connect to the next one. And this how you are going to invade the other race. You got Klingons, and we've got Romulans, and we've got the Federation, but they're coming out with the Ferengi now too.
Wow.
I'm excited about the Ferengi. Quark, these tube grubs are chilled to perfection. I love the Ferengi.
Yeah. I'll just remember.
Well, they're going to have an economic type of a gameplay strategy with them, I'm sure. And then the Cardassians are also going to be added, and they're going to be kind of a military faction. So, but they're not out yet.
Yeah. Maybe one day.
But Star Trek, one of my favorite IPs. Love Star Trek, and I think that's got to top out the list. We've had just great fun every time I played that game. Yeah.
I just remembered another great game which ties the theme of the IP with the game, and that is Game of Thrones, the card game from Fantasy Flight. The living card game. I've played it a few times, and the rules just really encapsulate the theme of what is actually happening in the show or in the book even. Really, really enjoyed it. Very, very backstabbery and, treachery, but you're fighting at the same time and making allies, and really, really fun. And that was a great implementation of an IP.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a couple of quick questions. What about most anticipated? Because you just mentioned Game of Thrones. And earlier I mentioned that I was at the Cmon Expo, and one of the games that I sat through an entire panel on with Michael Schindal from Cool Mini or Not, Eric Lang, and the other designer, I'm forgetting his name, I'm sorry about that, is the new game called A Song of Fire and Ice. And this is basically the whole Game of Thrones, and this is a miniatures game. And I was able to take photographs. You'll see the pictures at Board Game Theater on Facebook. You'll see the video of the Cmon Expo. You'll see these miniatures and how the miniatures actually moved. Some of them were even painted, and they talked about the whole backdrop of this IP. And this production was really amazing. I didn't get to play it, but the production is amazing.
Yeah. Anticipated for me is the Thing game, which has a nice box cover, but no designer name on it, and so that's got me worried. But I'm excited. Ooh. I'm excited because hopefully they will put some good mechanics in, maybe some kind of, you know, what's the Plat Hat game for zombie game?
Dead of Winter.
Yeah, hopefully there'll be some kind of mechanic like that involved in the game. That's anticipated, but I'm ready to be crushed. I'm ready to have my heart ripped out when they bring it out and it's actually pants.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing, you know, the designer, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that makes a big difference on how good the game is going to be. You need to have quality designers, quality design team.
Yeah.
You need to have a good marketing wing too, so that this thing actually gets out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool Mini or Not, again, you know, at the expo, I had the opportunity to play the new game. This is my most anticipated. You know, Rising Sun was fantastic. I've backed it. I didn't get to play it at Cool Mini. They only had one copy. That was probably my only disappointment. The one copy was kind of set aside in an area where only certain people, you know, it was kind of some retailers and big people could play it, and it wasn't really available for most of us, which that was disappointing because I really would have liked to have actually played it. But nonetheless, I've got it coming on Kickstarter. But the game that I've been most excited about, and I can't talk a lot about it, but it's the game The Godfather, Corleone's Empire.
You played it, and you liked it.
I got to play it with a game group. We didn't get to finish because they kicked us out at 10:15 because they had to close the hall down. Yeah, doy. And then the next day, though, I got to play it again with Eric Lang. Now, that says a lot because here you've got one of the top designers out there designing a game that he loves this theme. And that's the key. You get someone who's passionate about the theme, whether it's the company, whether it's the designer or what's happening in that realm, they're going to be more true to that IP.
Yeah. Instead of some guy saying, you've got to make a game like this. Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, we can copy and paste this. We can do this. We can make it kind of look like it. No. Eric Lane wanted that feel. He wanted that whole Manhattan, that map. He wanted the way that he was really particular. I probably can't talk about it. But there were certain components that he was really passionate about and really pressed the team to say, I really want this. And he was able to get that, and they were highly functional. So this is, in this game, it's everything I'd hoped.
Cool.
I felt, you know, I felt the theme. The game is just, it's coming out at the end of June. So I think right after Origins, you're going to see that hitting the market. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping maybe we can do a full-blown review on it. There's an IP issue there too with Paramount that I don't even know if we'll be able to do that as a Board Game Theater episode, at least in cooperation with anybody, because of licensing rights and permissions and all that nonsense. But nonetheless, that's an IP I'm super excited about. So did you have a bad one? What's your worst one?
What's the most disappointing one?
Yeah.
Have to be Firefly the board game. It's a game which has lots of clip art from the show and some made-up art for bits and pieces that you don't need. The idea is basically there. You've got to run and do missions. Some of them you get to choose are good missions, so you won't get stopped. Some of them are bad missions, which you may get stopped and arrested for. But it's, you know, not everybody can be Mel Reynolds in the game. You can't all just fly around as the same team. And that would have been a bit more interesting, I think, if players would have been characters on the same ship and they have to make decisions together. That would have been a bit more interesting. But this game is just a race. It's a race to make as much money as possible, or depending on the scenario. And so you're just trying to go there, do this, do that, and the two actions that you have. And it just didn't feel like Firefly at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. I had a really hard time with this one because I'm a fairly educated purchaser. I don't usually just buy games because of the IP and just don't even look at it before I buy a game. I'm going to watch somebody that's reviewed it, and I'm going to get a feel of it.
It's the same with Firefly. People were saying it was really good, and it didn't do it for me.
Yeah, Rick says that they're hoping that they manage to capture the atmosphere of the movie with The Thing. Yeah,
it's crossed.
Yeah, I know. Lance Meister loves that original game, The Thing, and so I think he loves that movie. So I'm sure he's probably in the same boat, really wanting that to go. But one of the games I played, and it's been a while now, you can find this game for almost nothing, but it was Star Trek: The Deck Builder. Mm-hmm. And it had a picture of the Queen Borg on the front. Was that Cryptozoic as well?
I think it was.
I think it was. And I played it, and it was like, God, I hate the artwork. I don't like the way this even feels. I never bought it, of course. It was a first impression, but it was a really, really bad first impression that made me not want to do it. And that was the only one that I could think of that I really, really disliked. I didn't care for the Hobbit love letter. I was really expecting that I would have liked that theme, and I'd rather play the regular love letter, or the Batman one is one I really like. I like the Batman. I like the little Batman tokens and the way the cards play back and forth a little better. So I don't really, because I tend to go into a purchase educated, I don't buy a game that I know isn't been reviewed very well. And normally I'm getting games that I know I'm going to like. So
yeah, and I think, as I said earlier, a lot of these games are being sold mainly because of their IP, and it's people that are not researching and just buying it as a gift for someone who they know likes that. That's where the money's being made.
But then I have my good buddy, Mike Parkinson from the Board Game Makeover. He does a segment on the Dice Tower Board Game Breakfast Show. You can see that right there. I even got my Board Game Breakfast shirt on today. Woo-hoo-hoo. Got some eggs, got some bacon. Oh, yeah, got some bacon. That was
bacon.
That was worth a lot right there, just seeing what you saw.
You're doing a chunky shuffle, weren't you?
Oh,
chunky
yeah. Lots of
truffle shuffle.
Chunky bacon shuffle, baby.
So where are you going? Sorry.
Well, so anyway, Mike, he does the Board Game Makeover, and he takes these games and he makes them bigger, or he's like a Simpson nut. So he's always putting a Simpson theme on something, making the cards bigger and retheming them with Simpson art. He's such a great guy. I love that guy to death, but he's come up with some really cool, innovative ways of changing existing games into, so if you ever check out Mike, the Board Game Makeover guy, his stuff is really cool. You can check him out on Board Game Breakfast. But anyway, IPs are great. I think companies are becoming more thoughtful, with the caveat, maybe the big box stores and companies are still kind of just throwing stuff out there with something that's popular.
Yeah. Again, we're seeing a revitalization of older titles from cult classic films start to emerge. There's The Thing, The Big Trouble in Little China. There's
Thunderstone. Thunderstone's or Thunderbirds, I mean, Matt
Yeah.
Leacock game.
Thunderbirds and Labyrinth and Ghostbusters. Talking about Ghostbusters, Philip Millman says that his worst IP is Ghostbusters and his best IP is Star Trek Ascendancy.
Ah, way to go, Philip.
Yeah. So thanks, Philip, for that.
My favorite IP of all time, though, is Baseball Highlights 2045. Mike Fitzgerald designed it, but the problem is the IP hasn't been designed yet because it's in the future. But it will be coming. We're just getting to enjoy it now.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite IP.
Yeah. And again, I think IPs are aimed at a particular market, aren't they? I mean, Dark Souls is popped out, and that's an IP based on a video game. So that's normally aiming for those people that played Dark Souls on their computers, who play board games, because I can't see anyone buying it who just plays, it's too complicated, it's too big, it's too expensive to buy in the store.
Well, and I don't know what the logistics of IPs are either, as far as it probably depends on the particular IP, who owns it, and how popular it is, and all of those things.
You just think about Marvel. If there's not many Marvel games out there, because I reckon the IP is very expensive. It's probably about 50% of the actual sale of the game.
Well, it makes me wonder how Fantasy Flight. They're doing fantastic. They have the distribution. They're doing a fantastic job, and they're limited to the type of game they can make. It pretty much has to be a miniatures game.
They have everything though. There's Star Wars dice game, Star Wars card game, Star Wars mini game, Star Wars combat space game, Star Wars. They're going to come up with like there's going to be a Star Wars something or other game later. Star Wars card drafting game. There's going to be a Star Wars real-time game, I reckon.
Well, I think it'll be amazing. It'd be great to have some industry insiders who are familiar with that process of what actually goes into signing an IP. I think there's probably an amazing amount of hoops that they have to jump through, just based on my little interaction with those games and those people that are producing them. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of money. Will it pay off in the end? I wonder if it actually does. For some, it might. Maybe some of these real popular ones. I'm not sure.
Yes, we should see. It depends on the IP. I mean, Star Wars is everywhere. Lord of the Rings is almost everywhere. Star Trek is almost everywhere. Marvel, there's not many Marvel games, are there?
Yeah, Marvel Legendary.
Marvel Heroes
Dice Masters.
Yeah, we're drifting off now, aren't we?
Well, that's basically our Babble topic. We were talking about IPs. What are your favorites? What are some that you can't stand? Do you think it's a money grab? What are your thoughts? Love to hear from you at the Board Game Geek Guild at 2248. You can join us there. Join us on our Facebook page at Burky and Badger. You can also join Barry at BoardGamesEverybodyShould.com. You can join us at BoardGameTheater.com, and likewise on Twitter. I'm Kimpek, Kimpek, at Board Game Theater, and you can always get us at Burky and Badger. And you're going to see that. You're going to not see it. You're going to hear this podcast within a week or so, coming out on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. You'll get the full audio banana. Tell your friends about us. We'd love to have more people join us in the chat. You can join us on YouTube Live, all of those things. But if you go to iTunes, we'd love to hear from you. Love to get a little review or something like that, so people can find out about us, and we'd sure appreciate that. And again, special thanks to our sponsor, Arcane Wonders. Barry, do you want to send us out and thank our live guests?
Yes, don't forget, email Burky if you want one of his limited edition cards.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Burky at BoardGameTheater.com. You can get Burky's shield for the new game, Spoils of War. It's a level 1 artifact. Woohoo. Cool.
Okay, let's find the end graphic. There's the end graphic. Thanks for watching, people. It's been a pleasure. Sorry.
As always, thanks guys for joining us. It's always a real treat talking with you.
Yeah. He wants a promo. Matthew wants a promo. Email Burky. That's what you're gonna do.
BoardGameTheater.com.
Yeah, there you go. You've been told. Anyway, let's sign off. Speakers have switched off. I'm switched off.
There we go.
We're so glad we had this time together. And now it's time to go. It won't be long until we have another show. So keep us in mind. Get online. Burky and Badger will be back.
In no time.
No time.
In no time.
No
time.
Time. Master time.
We're still live.
Are we? I thought I stopped. Oh.